Hello everyone, my name is Amelia Campbell. I am your district bulletin editor, and today I will be conducting the bulletin editor training as well as helping with the webmaster training.
Hey everyone, I'm Sitra Sunanon and I'm the Lieutenant Governor of Division 3. In this video, we'll be talking about the Webmaster.
So I attend Campbell College, that's in Division 2, and my second year as district bulletin editor. I served last year as well. So let us get into the roles and responsibilities of being the bulletin editor. So what is an editor? An editor has, I would say, three main areas of expertise within the board. They create the club's monthly bulletin and send articles to myself, the bulletin editor for the district. I will have the email address for that you guys will send these articles to, and I'll explain more about that later. They create engaging graphics as well as managing their social media. So these two things, creating graphics and social media, go with each other. So they create graphics and they share them, whether that's on Instagram or WhatsApp or through email.
The Webmaster is a part of the executive body and a very crucial part to Key Club. They're responsible for maintaining the public image of their club. They create and update social media pages and websites. They make sure everything is functional, user-friendly, and visually pleasing.
What are the steps to creating a good bulletin? So even before you start thinking about designing your newsletter, you should have an idea of what information you're going to put in there, and you have to start gathering that information well before it comes time to actually designing it. Then you have to design your newsletter and then you must distribute it. So gathering information, as I expressed, you should really strive to gather information throughout the month before it comes to the end of the month when you need to actually create the bulletin. And the bulletins are due the 5th of every month. So right now it is October, so the October bulletin will be due November 5th, for example. So anyway, gathering information, keep a record of all your club's events. If you can't, if you miss a day, miss a event, just ask your secretaries because they should also be doing this, so no stress. You have to ensure that you're either taking pictures or you get pictures from someone else. So I know it's online, but still, if you're having an interclubbing, take screenshots, ask everyone to pause for a second, turn on their cameras and take a nice screenshot of your club members and the other clubs, something like that. Plan the order in which you will be placing articles. So as I expressed, you have to actually plan your bulletins. So I send out a rubric nearing the end of each month of what the district is looking for to be in your bulletins. Mostly the same stuff. A few things might change, whether that's the Kiwanis activity we want you guys to talk about, or a district event that we really want everyone to push. But generally it's the same idea. We want you to talk about the events you did. We want you to share what you did on social media. We want you to talk about any Kiwanis interclubbing or Kiwanis event your club attended. We want you to have a key cover of the month, a message from your board, stuff like that. So you have to think about the order you're putting these articles in while you're gathering the information for them, and that helps give you an idea of just how much work you have to do. I can be very stress relieving to actually have it planned beforehand. So articles can be written by anyone in your club. So obviously you will be writing articles, but this can be very overwhelming. So keep in mind you can ask other members of your key club to help you. So for example, even me on the district board, I asked other board members, I've asked club members to write, I've asked club members to create stuff, and this also helps more people get involved with the activities of your club. Key Club International has a good idea has expressed what they want to see in a bulletin as well, so I will just list what they have. So designing your newsletter, now comes to the fun part. So there are various elements in designing the newsletter or any graphic. Honestly, this applies to. So you have to think about the aesthetic appeal, and this has a lot to do with the colors you choose. So Key Club International has in their brand guide the colors that are Key Club colors, right? So there's the specific shade of blue, specific yellow, specific gold, and a few others like green, orange, and blue and pink. But they have like that specific hex code. So check out the brand guide to find those that will be found in our Google Classroom. That can be found on our Google Classroom and their website. So when it comes to choosing your colors, please avoid using colors that clash or are hard to read. So think about how it feels for your eyes to be looking at the page. Is it too much color? Is it overwhelming? Can you even see the words on the page properly? All of that has to do with the aesthetic appeal of it. Because if it's hard to read, if persons find it difficult to look at, they won't read it, and that's the truth. You can have something very, very informative, but if it's hard to read, it doesn't make any sense. Dimensions of your newsletter should either be A4 size, which is 3508 by 2480 pixels, or letter size, which is 563 by 750 pixels. You can also find this information online and on the screen. Other elements of designing are pictures, shapes, lines, repetition, and using the Key Club resource elements. So pictures, very, very important. I said this before, when you're having an event, take screenshots. If you're having an in-person event, take pictures. You want to talk about an event that was last year and compare it to this year, find pictures from last year and put them in. You need pictures because people love seeing other people. People love having something to look at that aren't just words. So you need to have pictures to make your bulletin or graphic engaging. So shapes, lines, and repetitions are generally the same thing. So this is in case the pictures don't take up enough of the space on your graphic or on your page. You can, if you're using Canva especially, you can just type in circle or square or dotted line or something like that and put them in various patterns to take up the space around it. I have an example of what I mean because I feel this can be very vague, but it's essentially using other graphic elements to make your poster or whatever engaging. And that's like also goes for the Key Club resource elements. So I have a few examples on the page. There are way more on the Key Club website, like tons of them, tons of different colors too, but these are just 4 and it's 4 I use a lot. So examples of the varying elements. So I mentioned that this shapes, lines, and repetitions, that's the one in the middle. So you have first meeting of the year. That's the big, that's the important thing for this graphic. And there wasn't really any pictures we could put in, so I opted to use circles, something that looks like a plus sign, lines, and such to take up the rest of the space around the words, so that it wasn't just blank space. Oh, I didn't mention this before, but everything you create for Key Club needs to have the Key Club International logo on it. And if your school has a logo, put that too. Not only is this like mandatory, it also helps to give it a more professional feel and highlight that this is associated with Key Club International. Another example of what I was talking about, in the beach cleanup poster I have on this side, I think, just a design tip, right? I have to give you, when it comes to aesthetic appeal, think about the event that you are advertising. Think about the season this event is taking place in. For bulletins, think about the month this is coming out. What do we usually associate with this month? For example, if it's February bulletin, we associate February with Valentine's and love and stuff, so you could choose a pink theme. You could have more hearts and stuff around the page. This is just helping you have ideas of how to fill up the space around your graphic. So for beach cleanup, what do we think of? We think of the beach, we think of palm trees, we think of pollution. So I incorporated that into the poster. Another example of this was from the Campion College bulletin, where this is either the November or the December bulletin, and that is around like winter time. I know that winter in Jamaica, but you still have that idea of the light blues and the snowflakes coming out on this page. Oh, also another design tip when it comes to pictures, especially if you're using Canva or Adobe or something, you can make the pictures more organic shapes, so it's not just a square on the page. This makes it more dynamic and fun to look at. So even though I'm here giving you such great advice, there is so much more help out there on the internet when it comes to learning to use different programs, because I know many of you are this is the first time you're doing anything like this, and you probably don't even know which sites or applications to use to help you. So here are some more tips. You could use Canva. Ridiculously easy. I can't even overstate how easy Canva is to use, because not only do they give you templates, there is the Canva for Beginners YouTube videos that you can use to learn even more about how to use Canva to create your own designs, not just templates. Canva is also free to use, and it's online. It checks every box. You can also apply. You can also go to the Canva Design School that's on their website. The link is right there. And this PowerPoint will be available in the Google Classroom, don't worry. You can create your bulletins or graphics using Word. Word isn't that great for graphics, I'm going to tell you from now, but if you have the passion and the time and patience, you can make some really great things just using Word. Same thing goes for Microsoft Publisher. Microsoft Publisher is also quite good. There's the Beginner's Guide to Microsoft Publisher YouTube series right here, and you can create newsletters as well with Publisher. Again, link right here. And this isn't exactly for creating bulletins, but look into using the entire extent of Google Suite. So Google provides you with Gmail, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Forms, Google Drives, a lot of things, Google Calendar, Google To-Do List. They have everything. So there is really no excuse to not be organized when you have this all these readily available sites online. So you don't have to download anything, you just need Wi-Fi. And so with Google Docs, you can use that to write your articles before you start creating your newsletter. You can use Google Sheets to, I don't know what to use Google Sheets for as a bulletin editor, but I use Google Sheets a lot for schoolwork and stuff, so I guess that's just helpful day-to-day things. Google Forms, you want to conduct a survey within your club to find out what people want to do for a service next month. Google Forms. Google Drive. Personally, I have very limited space on my laptop, so using Google Drive, lifesaver. You just put all your newsletters, all your key club resources there, and you have somewhere where you can access them every time you need to use them. Google Calendar, again, for recording upcoming events and events that you went to and the time they took place. Google Calendar is very good for that. And Gmail, we all use Gmail because we go to school. And when it comes to distributing now, final stage of the bulletin, you have completed your bulletin. You must now convert it to a PDF and then send it to someone, not me, send it to someone you trust, maybe not a board member, maybe a friend, to review it, and they're just checking for errors and making sure everything in your bulletin makes sense. And then when all is said and done, when you've corrected it and feel like you've done a great job, you send it to myself using kcjabulletin@gmail.com, as well as sending it to the webmaster's email, webmaster.kc.jamaica@gmail.com, along with a monthly report. The monthly report, I cannot stress how many persons never send a monthly report. Please send a monthly report. You are part of the board, the club board, and you are supposed to do a monthly report. So the monthly report for the Bulletin Editor is extremely easy, I promise you. All you're doing is saying month. So let's say we're doing the November monthly report. In November 5th, 2021, by Amelia Campbell of Campbell College. And then I say, during the month of November, we conducted many services related to Key Club Week, as well as a fundraiser for premature babies. I don't know. You give out a preface like that, and then after that you list number 1, number 2, number 3, each of the graphics, including the newsletter that you have created. So for the newsletter, you say this is the newsletter for your club. If it has a special name, you say a special name. Like for example, Hampton's newsletter is called, I'll just show it on the screen because I don't really remember right now. And then you say that, and you give a summary of the things that are in it. So you talk about, we have Key Club Week events, like we had a talent show, we did an interclubbing with X, Y, and Z, we donated to these people, we showed that appreciation for our faculty advisor, stuff like that. And then for something simple like a postal, maybe for a fundraiser. So let's say you have a fundraiser, you have a bake sale called Treats for Tots. You say, we created a poster advertising our Treats for Tots fundraiser, which was on X, Y, and Z date, and yeah, just describe it like saying, it has a blue background, it has pictures of cookies, stuff like that. You're just giving a summary of what you're seeing on your graphic. And now to have done your report, we must now publish your newsletter. So sending to me isn't publishing it. Publishing it is sending it to your club members. So whether you choose to do that through email or WhatsApp, or you feel really, really convicted, Issue. Issue is a website that allows you to upload magazines, newsletters, the like, to the internet, and you can just share a link to it. I use Issue for the district. You can find the link to it on our page, and I'll probably put it here if I can. So Issue is good for having just all your newsletters in one place online that everyone else can access it. But for a club, I would recommend sending it out through WhatsApp or email. So I mentioned that a part of your duties is sending articles to the district bulletin editor. Right now, that's me. You have articles in your newsletter, and as I said, throughout the month leading up to them, you are writing these articles and compiling the events that you want to put in your newsletter. You should also send these articles to me, especially if it's about a service your club has done. So your club had a beach cleanup. Send pictures, write an article about it, and send it to me before your actual newsletter. That way I can put it in the Jamaica Key, that is the district's newsletter. So the district's newsletter includes pretty standard stuff, honestly. Articles from divisional officers, articles from club editors, that's where you guys come in, that's what I just mentioned, district announcements, etc. So as I mentioned, the articles that you would send in are about a meeting, event, or service, or special activity. Pictures and descriptions of activity must be included. You should do this once a month, about once a month, and it's just a page in our bulletin and your bulletin. This way, like, people get an idea of what our district is doing through the bulletin, and you also get like more attention to your club. So it's a win-win situation. And you send this again to kcjabulletin@gmail.com. This is an example of how a club article looks in the district newsletter. Again, at Key Club Jamaica on Instagram, at Key Club JA, on Facebook and Twitter. Now, social media management. We're almost at the end. So this is the last area of your duties, and this is the part that really ties in the idea of the Bulletin Editor and Webmaster working together as one. So we use social media to advertise your events and the newsletter. Okay, this is how you notify the club about your activities. If you have your club page, you need to keep them active, and we're going to give you some ideas on how to do that. And please create simple, good looking content for your Instagrams and such, because that makes people want to follow you even if they're not in your club. So advertising events and newsletters. So there is a Key Club Jamaica Linktree. Linktree is just a application that allows you to share various links on the same page. This is an example of what it looks like, and I will show an example of what the district one looks like. So you have all the important links related to the district. So maybe a link to our website, a link to our YouTube, a link to our Twitter, a link to a form we want you to fill out, a link to a meeting that's coming up, a link to our registration for Decon. All of that would be in our link tree, so you have all your links in one place. It's very helpful. So if your club wants to do something like that, I would recommend it absolutely. We encourage reposting as long as you give credit to the other accounts you're taking it from. We recommend that you create posters for your meetings and services. This way you have something to post, and that also boosts engagement and again gets more people to follow you. And if you have any event, if you tag Key Club Jamaica, especially seeing how Key Club Week is coming up, tag Key Club Jamaica and we will share it on our page, on our story as well. Now for frequent activity, I mentioned about frequent activity before. It's fine. Ensuring that your page has a lot of engagement as much as it can. So Instagram, if you make your club's page a business page, this is Instagram specifically, if you make it a business page, you'll be able to look at the insights. And the insights, if you scroll down to followers, scroll down to the bottom of that, there will be the most active times by day and hour. So you look through that and you see that, on Fridays at 6 p.m. is a time when we have the most activity on our page. Therefore, if we're going to do once a week post, I should try and post it on Friday. Logical, right? So that's the idea. Post at a time when most people that follow you are already online. So you can honestly go back to when I was talking about designing your newsletter and design elements, because that applies here very much. So create content that is simple, especially for Instagram. Instagram has this aesthetic where it doesn't like too much clutter on the page, so you have to try and keep your designs absolutely clean and easy to read. These are some examples. Also, any design for Instagram, please do it in 2000 by 2000. That just makes it easier to post, or 4:5 ratio if it's a video. Not a video, a poster or a video. 4:5 ratio or 1:1 if it's a video. 16:9. Any questions? You can email kcjbulletin@gmail.com. You can message or Instagram at Key Club Jamaica, and you can comment in the Google Classroom. Thank you.